The All Smiling Faces podcast is now sponsored by Tyre Spot, the Northeast's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode. Hi everybody, welcome back to the All Smiling Faces podcast on the GallowgateShots YouTube channel. As you can see if you're watching live, Bestie is not with us this evening. We have a last minute substitution in Matthew. Matthew is back.
Hello.
But Decca and Mark are here too, along with myself. Your host tonight. Hi everybody. So I think everybody was a little bit nervous going into the game on Sunday.
Whoa.
Oh, I forgot the thing.
Whoa.
Spoke from today. I forgot the thing.
Decca.
Oh, the thing. We forgot.
After all these years, it is a bit mad, isn't it?
Come on.
Yeah,
forgetting
it's
about
still
it.
a thing, and we still get people shouting at it. Like, it's mad. But Decca, take it away, mate.
Well, when you know.
Get in.
But yes, we were all a little bit nervous. Not just ourselves. We're talking about a quartet. But I would imagine most Newcastle United fans would have been worried about this one because, Mark, it's probably been the biggest test so far this season. I know it's only the fourth game in it, including the cup game. But we haven't been putting out the best of performances. And you're thinking Spurs have had a similar sort of start with us. They look ropey against Leicester. They got a decent result against Everton. But I think me and you playing Everton, just me and you, could probably get a result against Everton at the minute. So you're thinking it's a tough one against Spurs.
Yeah, I mean, you always
out that way, but
you always look at it, don't you, on paper when one of the perceived big six comes to town, you know, play on your own pitch. But history tells us with that team that, you know, it doesn't matter where they're sitting in the league, how we're going, that we've generally, you know, done all right against them. So although I was kind of wary, I did have that in the back of my mind around, well, we'd normally get a result against them, and thankfully, it turned out that way again.
I know we've already discussed this. We've done a match reaction this afternoon, which has already gone out.
Yeah, I feel a bit strange because I'm like, I feel like I'm just going to repeat myself.
Yeah. Just in person.
I might just change my whole opinion now.
But yeah, you probably will, because I'll just say something and then you'll go with completely opposite.
I thought that until you said it.
But just obviously to echo on your thoughts, which you gave earlier, you were in the same mindset as everybody else.
To be honest, mate, I was quite worried. I think it was more so for the atmosphere, given the week we had just had, even though we won in the cup, but it was the way the window finished. I thought if we don't get off to if we go a goal down and things start going against, or just how the fans may react or whatever. And I agree with Mark that, you know, you think it is Tottenham and that they haven't done very well at our place recently, but they're still a good side. They've got some great players. I'm a fan of Ange, to be honest. So I was nervous going into it, massively. Yeah.
It's funny you should mention the atmosphere, because even in town, I was in town probably just before 12 on Sunday, and it was eerie in town. It was just like a weird atmosphere around the whole place. Like normally on match day, there's like loads of people milling around. There's a real buzz around the city and that, and the streets just kind of felt empty. And I was looking, I'm thinking, it is an early kickoff, isn't it? I haven't got the time wrong. And even when we were kind of sat having a pint, the pubs weren't busy compared a normal match day. That might well have been the case, but it just
early kickoffs are sometimes not always easy. They're not always. I get if it was like 4 o'clock, then I give you that. Sometimes an early one can be more difficult, but maybe it has something to do with the week we've had, and there was a bit of discontent, I think, in the ranks. So could be that as well.
Weather wasn't great either.
No, you're doing sun's shining, 4 kickoff, you're laughing.
Yeah.
There was a bit of light drizzle.
It was.
It wasn't
misty.
Starting 11, Matthew. Were you
Yeah.
adamant that was going to be the starting 11? Because it's obviously the rumours of Trips and Tino who's going to be starting, the wingers, if it was going to be Gordon on the left, Barnes on the right, if Murphy was going to get a start, etc., etc. Tonali coming into it.
Left back as well.
Left back,
yeah. I mean, I wasn't expecting that. But then there is pros and cons. I think he's giving Spurs a lot of respect there and saying that, which is Lewis Hall, when you want to have the impetus at home. I think he's your attacking starting left back, but I think Kelly's a bit of a mishmash of the two. But we saw that he got the assist, but he's a bit more physical, a bit more of a defensive minded left back.
I was worried about that left back position, but he did a decent job, to be fair.
Well, we didn't just do that. We sort of had, out of possession, Joe Linton started slotting in over at the left side. It was definitely a tactic that we were going with. Very noticeable in the first half anyway, when we were like arming the Leazes end. So I was wondering what he was doing, but he was tracking his man there all the time. I thought it was interesting seeing Barnes and Gordon start together as well. I think that's sort of something that they're going to keep trying moving forward, because I'm probably putting 2 and 2 together and getting 6. But the fact that we didn't get that player in to be a right winger, to be a marquee signing or right wing cover, I think he's going to be trying to get them used to maybe playing on the opposite flank, because let's face it, them two players, they were marquee signings, especially Anthony Gordon, but Harvey Barnes didn't come in just to sit on the bench. So, and obviously he's got himself a goal, which is great, but I think we'll see a lot more of that moving forward, especially at home. So there was a couple of surprises, but I was largely happy with the starting 11. Like
we were talking about this before kickoff, Mark, that obviously the way that the club do the team sheet now is in numerical order.
I hate that. I hate it.
It's the worst. It's absolutely the worst, and they're going to continue it for the rest of the season, so get used to it. But obviously, when the players are coming out, warming up, we're going, right, who's going on left, who's going on right, between Gordon and Barnes.
Yeah.
I think if it wasn't in numerical order, you'd still be asking that question, though.
No, that's what I mean.
Because I only hate it because I expect to see, like, the best defenders and then the attackers, like, further up down the list. And then when you don't see them there, you're like, well, where's Isak at?
Yeah.
You freak out.
Maybe I'm just convinced by me starting 11 prediction videos where I actually put them where they should be on the field.
That's the way it should be, isn't it? You always have your kind of the formation that you're going to play it laid out. You know, go across your back four, then your midfield, and then your strikers. But the whole doing it by numbers is really annoying. But it does give you that kind of a wonder of, and I guess that's the flexibility that you've got with Gordon and Barnes, and the way that we're seeing them in the last couple of games, where you probably did think Gordon was going to start on the right and Barnes on the left, just because that's where they've kind of started and settled off. But then, particularly in the last game, I think when they swapped,
Forrest, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then Gordon went to the left and Barnes went to the right. They had much more of an impact doing that. So I thought, might he actually start like that this time round because of what we actually saw happening in midweek? But it didn't pan out that way. He did go with what we probably expected.
I'll stick with you, Mark, because I've already asked Decker this question, but it was something which was asked from one of our members last week or the week before, I think it was, that have we solved that issue on the flanks now that we've seen, obviously, these players play left or right? And what Matty mentioned before, we haven't brought somebody in to be your first choice right winger, the upgrade in the right winger position. Has that been solved now, or is there still a big question mark over it?
No, I think with both of them, there's pros and cons from playing them on both flanks. And then you look at what we've got on the bench, particularly on that right side, there's things that those players offer that the two starting ones that are going in there don't offer. So I think there's, on paper, without a doubt, Gordon and Barnes are your best two players, and as Matty's just been saying, they're your
best two wingers,
your marquee. Yeah. But you don't get that, particularly with let's say Barnes, you don't get that burst of pace that you would get in acceleration with Murphy, but you probably get a better passing, better link up play, certainly better shooting ability. You don't get the work rate of Miggy with his, particularly he's tracking back and he's covering and stuff like that. So I think there's definitely a case for it to be a squad between the four of them and them coming in at different times. And obviously, as games progress and stuff like that, you'll necessarily will see the changes. I'm going to massively jump ahead in the game here, but talking of that change, I did find the fact of when he made the change of Murphy and taking Barnes off at that time quite unusual, given how Barnes had kind of played. But I guess he was looking at it from that more defensive style and then hitting them on the break. So again, you're looking at the pros and cons of the players that you've got on the bench available to you.
I thought Gordon was miles better when he went on the left as well. We'll probably talk about Mr. Gordon later, I'm sure, but there's obviously still people mentioning his supposed, albeit just stupid, what people are saying about his demeanour. But he just looked a bit more. I mean, some of the free kicks he's won, and he was putting the fear of God and breaking on the left. I think he got wiped out about 3 or 4 times late in the second half.
Yeah.
And he just looked a bit more. He maybe did that lovely little sort of reverse pass into Murphy as well. I think he looks better on the left, but I don't mind him continuing with trying this. Like someone's just said, it doesn't solve the problem. Sort of papers. If it does work, it just papers over a crack. Like we know we need that right winger, but let's hope it does end up working and starts yielding results.
Just to go back to Gordon and sticking with him, Decker. You mentioned a few times on the match reaction, which we did, that not necessarily his attitude, but there was a couple of moments in the game where he just not lacked interest, but you could tell he was off the pace, and it stood out like a sore thumb at times.
I mean, it's probably fair to say we haven't seen the Gordon that we're used to seeing, right? And I said on there that it's probably down to the pre-season and the lack of game time for England, and numerous reasons, really. I was quite surprised that I'm surprised he brought Barnes off. I thought he would have brought Gordon.
I thought it was going to be
being
Gordon.
honest. And that's just judging on the performance up until that point. I thought Barnes had played better than Gordon. End of. But Gordon lost it very uncharacteristically in midfield. I remember dead easy as well. I mean, he wasn't the only player. Crikey, loads of them did it, but I don't know. He just, there was a few times as well he didn't run back, and it was just surprising. Like, because
he do it every other time. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like he did it once, and you're like, oh, there you go. And then there'd be times where he literally a few things and a few sort of strides and stopped, and then they'd look back at him and he just did that.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
there was some good link-up play. I mean, the one you referenced, that pass to Murphy was fantastic. To be fair, the way he managed to do that. And he's definitely, of course, he's more effective coming from the left.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean he can't grow into be a good player on the right. It just takes time. But I don't know. I just feel maybe just a few more games, a little bit more time, get his sharpness back. I don't think there's anything in these rumours of Liverpool and all that nonsense. I think he's just taking more time than, we've seen that from in January when he didn't get a solid pre-season. He came in January and had spit. We knew there was a player there. We could see it, but we didn't see the player
exactly
we seen the following year. And I do think you'll grow into that again and be fine. It's just we just have to.
There was a couple of moments, though, Mark, where there was just a free header for the opposition, and Gordon's 5 yards behind, and he's not even moving to make a challenge for it. And he was just allowing it to fall to a Spurs player. Then obviously those advanced from that point. And then I mentioned to Decker earlier, is he just keeping his energy? Because Eddie Howe's admitted himself that he's not up to the speed where he needs to be at. Is he just trying to keep his energy for those moments when we're breaking, or have you got a different opinion?
It could be that. I mean, Sunday was probably the first time that I have questioned like his performance. Obviously, we did it during the game, and particularly picked up on that moment where it was very, very close to him and he wasn't making any attempt to get to it. And then you might think, well, is he carrying a knock? But do you really think, would it be like that this early in the season? So then you do question, is it a fitness thing and just having that energy level? But then he kind of then, as the game developed, and particularly as you've said, Decker, when he moved across onto that left-hand side and we played more on the break, in the second half, in the latter stages of it, he showed no signs of that whatsoever.
Yeah, I agree.
So he was running at pace. He was in behind. He was running at them. So I do still question whether there was a choice thing happening at that point, and whether he's thinking, oh well, I'm not sure I can get there, so I'm not going to bother. Whereas other times, and previously in his career with us, he hasn't made that choice. He's just done it. So is
there this day and age? Is there? And again, I'm no sports scientist, but is there some sort of, maybe he's agreed, right? We're gonna play a majority of the game, if not all the game, but we need to manage your sprints. If you go out and play, look, the numbers say that if you go on like you normally do, I reckon you'll be knackered by 60 minutes. And I think I need you because I'm gonna possibly, because they're not daft, they've got game plans. And I think your sort of observation, Decker, of when we saw him after getting him in January, he needed to run of games, but he just, like I said, he just didn't seem with it yet. That's the sort of Anthony Gordon I'm seeing, not this. His head's turned. He's not interested. He's down in tools. Bullshit. Like, I'm just seeing a player who's sort of maybe managing his minutes and his energy, albeit it's frustrating because we know what he's capable of. I watch his demeanour when this sounds daft, but when we scored the goal, he's one of the first ones to run over and he was over the moon.
Yeah.
I'd be worried if he just went, oh, nice one, turned his back and just went back to his position. He obviously gives a shit. So I just think there's just something there where they think he's slowly getting there and they're like, well, we're going to play today, but just be careful.
I think there's times where he does look like he needs a lift.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the crowd recognised that, particularly like down when they were down at the Gallowgate end. Every time he was coming over for a corner, the Gallowgate in the corner were giving him a chant and lifting him just to try and, you know, whether it's raise his game, give him a bit of impetus or what, because we know what a player he can be on his day, and it's just trying to get him to that levels at the minute. And I think there's probably going to be a bit of frustration from him because of the character that he is, and we've all seen in the interviews that he's done, kind of how he, you know, prepares himself for a game, you know, visualizing stuff, his mentality around it. So I don't think he'll be best pleased with his performances that he's putting in at times as well. So I think just that arm around him from the crowd will kind of help.
I think it could be a combination of absolutely everything, right?
Yep.
Like it could be a combination of not playing for England at all, being pissed off there. I mean, we're seeing photographs and stuff where all the team were together and he was standing on his own. He then comes back, doesn't really have a very good he doesn't have a pre-season. Apologise. Little bit of sharpness lacking. Maybe, hey, listen, call it what it is. Maybe the window in terms of the little murmurs of Liverpool. Maybe he wasn't happy with that. You know what I mean?
Losing his best mate in the squad as well. Anderson went.
Yeah.
Aye, true. Yeah. So I don't think it's one particular item or one thing, but it's a combination of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair, what I will also say though, if he was showing any signs of what we've kind of discussed, we're not agreeing with this, but these horrible things, Howe wouldn't have him in the team. So Howe was picking him, and I also think he may have kept Gordon on to go, no, like, I believe in you. Like, I'm going to take Barnes off, which Barnes is probably why he took me off. But showing that faith in him, Gordon will probably come off and go, you know, is he, you know, I've played the full game type of thing. So I don't know, you know,
I think that change is 100% tactical based on the fact that we were under a bit of pressure at that time. Our best opportunity to come away from those moments is through a break.
Mm-hmm.
And you know for a fact that if you want one person on the end of a break, it's going to be Gordon. So that I think is what makes
Barnes is quick, you know,
that.
Barnes is quick.
But he's not as...
I don't think he's as explosive.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think he showed some pace against Notts Forest. I was quite impressed with how quick he was. But yeah, I think him and Murphy are a bit just that acceleration is probably the word you're looking for. And let's face it, albeit I'm sure we'll discuss what came before it. But the Murphy change worked. So
just we did open the scoring digger with Bond gets his goal. Great finish as well, but even better assist from Kelly from that left hand side. It's a great ball in.
Absolutely amazing. Yeah, I honestly didn't think he would be able to get it in there. If I'm being honest, I didn't think he'd be able to get the cross in. Fantastic cross. God, the finish, man! I just every time I see it back, it just gets better and better. It's just unbelievable to generate that much power while sort of almost leaning back and
opening his body up, isn't he?
It's unbelievable. Like it really, really is. And he had I think I referenced this before, another one, but you know, he come inside and bent one. For me, that was in all day long. You know, and that was vintage Barnes. That's what Barnes does, right? I mean, pretty much every goal he scored has been similar to that.
As soon as he hits that, I mean, Williams, I've said it to you at the time, you just expected the top corner to be rippling with the ball in the
can't half strike a good ball in, like no, but class. I was really pleased because Howard said he had been knocking at the door. I want to give him a chance, and he's repaid that by scoring. So it was fantastic. Like it was such a good goal that it really was. He scored some class goals for us, him like,
and that's the bit you would miss from having Barnes on the right side because he can't then come in and do that characteristic. But
Gordon does that, and then if Gordon does exactly that, the amount of goals you've seen Gordon score will come in from that side and bend it in. It is difficult. There's absolutely no doubt about it.
It's not a bad option to have though if it works. That's what I'm saying. So I'm happy for him to keep going, keep starting with these two, and then maybe, hopefully, if we're in a bit more of a more comfortable situation as performances get better and we play, albeit not tough, not weaker sides, but you know, games we're expected to win, you can see them swapping over and maybe get at teams and them thinking they don't know where the bat they're balling, you know.
Yeah, I definitely think they'll change more often than not. It sounds the old Pardew tactic, but you know, just swap wings. But I think they will, because there'll be times where, you know, Barnes might start on the left and the fullback's just got him. You know, just has him sorted, and then at least we've got the option to go right, switch over, see if Gordon can have a better. You know, I wouldn't like to be a fullback having to have a go at both of them. Like, you know
constantly guessing as well, aren't you?
all the time. I mean, you probably know that they're going to come inside, but they both have different attributes of how they come inside. Does that make sense? We both know it come inside. I don't know why my head went there, but we all it did though for some reason.
Rabbits.
I do apologize. Yeah, we both know they're going to come inside and have a shot. But they go around it different ways. But I was really pleased with Barnes, and I think I still do. I love Barnes and I love Gordon. I still will bang the drum a little bit of having them both playing the same position. There's still something about that feels weird that we signed them, if I'm being honest. But I would love it if we can try and get the three of them to work together in some capacity. Even though I know last week we said, and you were like, near chances are that he's going to play right wing. They're both left wingers. But I think it's proven that Howe's now more than ever willing to try and push that envelope a little bit. Because what choice you got?
He's going to experiment with it. Of course he is.
I think you've got to, haven't you?
I think I would, on the face of it, I'd like to see Bonds on the right more, because I think you'd get more out of him playing on the right than you would Gordon, because of just the way they both play the game.
Well, I think against Forest, that definitely you could see Barnes can play right. I mean, he played really well. I thought when he got shifted over there, he was still able to get past the fullback, etc. But then you can throw an argument back and go, "Oh, the goal doesn't happen on Sunday because he was left and it was a great finish and he nearly bent one in the top corner." Blah, blah, blah. There is pros and cons, as Mark says. It is difficult, and I don't know. I think it's a work in progress, that one. I think.
It was a great start. I think the first half we were by far the better team.
That's nice, Mark.
I've been banging the positivity drum heavy to you guys.
they
Not like this guy.
I'll give you
many problems at all.
I'll give you up until the linesman went off.
Yeah, so that's 20 minutes.
I think.
Then when that took apparently only 5 minutes, but that felt like 15 minutes. That felt, and I think when the play commenced after that, I thought we struggled to get back into it.
I think ultimately both teams did, because of the length of time that it took to swap the linesman over with the fourth official.
Why do you reckon that was?
Kind of the linesman got either injured or sick, but he didn't go off.
No, but that's the thing. Why
straight to fourth official?
Why didn't? And I know we're going off a tangent here. Sorry, but like, why doesn't the linesman run up the fourth official? The fourth official just because he had his orange top under his black, just bang.
It took ages.
There's a flag. See you later. I have a theory. I reckon he had like
the shite.
He had a poo in the chamber.
Yeah.
And he's fourth official, and he stood there and like, I'm all right here. I'm all right. I'm just turning to Mad Dog, and I'm turning. You go over there. And then the line was like, my calf's exploded. Like I'll come straight away. Give us 5 minutes, and he's like, he's ran down and just like,
give us shite, lads.
Yeah.
Possibly. He had to go and get changed, and he had to take his tracksuit off. Obviously, you'd expect him to have his gear on underneath.
Something going on.
But
I've seen it before where it's like that. Gone. Like
you'll need to have a little warm. He was only a little fella. He needed to have a little warm.
Start doing side steps.
Because I suppose because if you don't, then you're going to be in the same position as him.
Somebody out of the crowd to then come in.
Well, Murphy looked like that for a bit.
But I think it just it killed the atmosphere, because the game just died at that point, and then the performance did drop off. But I think. I wouldn't say that they then suddenly, massively came back into the game and outplayed or anything like that. I think it was probably cagey for 5-10 minutes after that. But in that first half, we were the best team.
I would love you to watch it back. Like I have to say, I've watched the game twice. Like, and I'm telling you, after that linesman goes off, we're not in trouble. But them change something.
I don't think, honestly, at any point,
good.
And we'll get on to the second half. But I don't think at any point they're really troubled with.
Wow.
I mean, Polk makes two decent saves from Basuma.
They miss an open goal. That lad has to head at that. It's a goal. He guards with his foot. Second half, they hit the bar.
First half,
the amount of times that them were in on.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the first half.
I'm not interested. I know we hit the bar. We're on about yours, and they didn't trouble us. I cannot agree with that.
I saw them slowly coming in. They get 20 minutes. Totally agree with Mark. 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Then KG. Then the last, I would say, 10-15 plus extra time, so 20 minutes again. So like proper like mixed, and I'm probably sitting on the fence here, like, but like it was like, okay, yeah, they are growing into the game more.
Pope made a couple of good saves. I was one straight at him from Porro, I think it was, but they were getting in at work. But
we ironically score a goal when they're in their best spell.
Well, we did, because I couldn't believe it. I put this in I couldn't believe what I'd scored at that time, because it felt like it was all Spurs and we're broke, which is great, by the way. That's what you want to do. But I definitely think after the linesman went off, we were just. Them with the better side at that point, but we were definitely the better side before that. No question at all. We started really well.
I just feel that we all of the efforts and chances that they had were really long distant ranges. Yes, there was a couple of times where they got into the box and stuff like that, but like you say, a couple of saves from Pope. There wasn't even in when we got into the second half and they were having that sustained pressure. Probably, I guess you kind of expect them to come out in the second half and go all guns blazers to try and get into the game. But I think defensively we were very, very strong across the back four. I thought Tino had an excellent game.
Mm-hmm.
Kraft and Byrne were brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Lloyd Kelly was very strong as well. I think that just kind of answered it. It went back to almost the way we've played in the last couple of seasons with when we've had Dan Byrne at left back, having Kelly there because Tino would push on and would drop into that back three.
Yeah, and then Joe Linton was coming over. Yeah,
drop into the left hand side as well. So
I actually noticed that even more in the first 10 minutes of the second half. Joe Linton was left back.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
And I think that led to a turnover possession leading up to the goal. I mean, they get in, don't they? And then we clear it, and they just sort of
hit the bar, don't they? From the deflected cross, and then it comes out to Madison.
I thought there was a bit where we're over on our left there, right, where sort of Joe Linton and Gordon sort of have a mismatch of passes, and then it ends up back over there. But I might be wrong.
I think. Can we go on the second half? So I think. I know. Yeah. I
Let's
think.
go to their goal. Their goal.
I'd mentioned something for. I just feel, and I'm not saying I understand why. When Dad Johnson came on, he caused a little bit. He's fast, lad. He's very, very quick, right? And he was causing a little bit more trouble. I think what the problem, the thing that was quite mad watching it was. We had absolutely zero up front, so we were clearing the ball, and it was just coming straight back at us. Isak couldn't make it stick. There was a few times Gordon. It's one of them, isn't it? The crowd were like, "Go on, he's got 4 to beat." Like, poor lad's got no chance, right? It was quite frightening that we had absolutely zero up front. Couldn't keep the ball to stick. But the second Spurs played one pass that were in on the back four. The midfield, the shape of the midfield was non-existent. Bruno couldn't get around the pitch very well. Now I did reference this before as well. All 3 of them were on a yellow card. And that's tough work because I appreciate when you're under pressure, you cannot put your foot in, you're scared to because you're going to get sent off. And they were just passing through. Madison, and there was a few of us just literally just streaming through. And I don't know if because Joe Linton was filling out with the left-hand side so much, it meant the middle was even more impacted by that. But I felt for a long stretch, and I will agree with Mark to a degree, is that they didn't really have many clear-cut chances. A lot of them were long range and stuff like that. I just feel that was Spurs' issue, not necessarily that we were good, I'll say. I would definitely agree with Kraft and Byrne were doing some amazing clearances last ditch, but some of their final ball was appalling. Like, they were onto a back four within a second, and then they'd play the wrong pass or they'd overhit something.
3-on-2s and 2-on-1s.
And to be fair, how referenced this in the game, he said, I was furious at some of the defending in the second half. There was some good, he said, but we have to learn a lot from the second half because one pass from their defence and they were in, man. They were in at our back four. They're like watching Man United.
Or it might have been a pass from one of our own as well.
Well, it happened a few times, yeah. And I referenced this on the reaction and I'll say it again. I thought we were incredibly lucky not to be behind before we scored, if I'm honest, because I thought there was only one team. Well, they did score again. Scored one, of course, which we'll come on to. But when that goal went out, there was only one team going to win here. That's how I felt at the time. Like,
so their goal, Mark. Obviously, we saw right in front of us. What's your thoughts now that you've seen him back? Should Pope be doing better? Yes, he pulled up some great saves, but he should be doing better at that moment.
He should. I mean, there's a couple of chances in there, isn't there? Of like the way
it's Madison that gets the first shot.
Yeah, but we've got an opportunity to clear the ball and we just don't take it. We play ourselves into trouble, which it then comes. And as you say, that the first chance comes. There's a save in there, comes back out again. Just get rid of the ball, put it out to touch, hoof it up the pitch or something. It doesn't. It comes back again, and then just the little ball down the right hand side, and then it comes across the face, and you cut that ball off. Should Kelly have done a bit better out wide? Maybe being harsh there. Pope's, what's happened, and then Dan Byrne's got a decision. He's just trying to. Where it is right in front of goal, trying to get it clear. And, it's one of those where it either goes up and out or it goes flying into the back of the net. And unfortunately,
I think Dan Byrne's already made the decision what he's going to do before.
It's just trying to cut it out, because there was, I think not long before that, there was a hell of a ball put in a very similar position. Probably comes from a bit deeper where it just comes straight across the 6-yard box and everybody's piling in on it and just nobody can get a touch. So it gets put into that type of position again where it's either looking for a defender just to slide in and hit it in, or somebody to come in and attack, and it's a tap in. So it's a really, really difficult one to kind of defend against. But there's warning there, and I think, like I say, if Pope does better, if you just clear your lines, it doesn't become the issue that it ultimately became.
Well, I think we're a little bit unlucky to a degree because they play a short corner, and we obviously adjust for that. They then try to cross it, and it ends off flicking off someone, then hitting the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Then obviously it's panic stations really almost immediately. It does break the Madison, and I just feel Pope. I think, as I said this before, but I think if you watch it back, right, Pope, I think is going to wants to catch it.
He's semi going to gather it like
and
that.
And then I think at the last second, he's like, shit, actually, it's maybe too much on it. So he tries to almost scoop it away, which then, of course, goes straight to Johnson. Now, it's ironic if Byrne wasn't there. I'm not sure if that would have actually just carried on, probably going out.
But it's going out, but Byrne doesn't think that. Byrne thinks it's going in. So I can't blame him.
And obviously, Pope's flapped at it on the way back through. Obviously, of course, he's thinking it's gone in, so he's just trying to get something on it. And that, ironically, that little touch.
Yeah, he sort of almost makes it saved, didn't he?
Almost, yeah. And that then said, because at first time I thought, I'm really shocked Byrne just couldn't sort of hook it away. But then when I seen it back, that touch off Pope, unfortunately, he has to try and readjust and then bang, you know what I mean? But it was a very, very soft goal. But again, your keeper has to, you got to point the blame at the keeper, right? Like, he should be doing better. He did one in the first half. There was a lad had a shot. It was almost like a whipped pass, I'd say, really. And he like pushed it out for a corner. And I was like, surely you could call that. And everyone.
That was in my goal. Like, I mean,
you're in there.
Yeah, I don't know. It sort of comes through bodies and it sort of bounces in front of him. And I'm just like,
no, not that one. Didn't bounce
not the one. But I just sort of, with them ones, I'm just thinking, I'm always safety first. But it was obviously with a lot more conviction, a lot more sound technique. As much as he sort of just shouldered it away, he's done it properly. Whereas, like you say, he's got caught between two hands.
He's went to catch it and went, actually, I can it. And then it's just.
It's not made him look great.
It's almost one of them where it's, you react like that when it comes on to you really quickly, and you're like, you've just got to try and get something and get it away. But
that one did take a bounce, and I'm maybe the bounce is what's. I mean, he's a professional goalkeeper; he should still be able to adjust for that. But I think it did bounce from Madison. I think that's maybe what's caught him off guard to a degree. It's just unlucky that it's just so unlucky that obviously Johnson's standing right there. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is unlucky to a degree, but you can only point at Pope. But I'm going to bail him out a bit. He did some great saves as well, mind you. You know what I mean? Madison.
I've had conversations today. I've told you about them. Like, I think again he gets far too much heat for my liking. Again, totally agree with you. But that Madison save, especially,
great save.
I'm not having that as. I feel like this day and age, a keeper, when it comes to goalkeeping saves, they're either saves they should be making, or they're absolute worldies. There's no. That's a great save. He did 2 or 3 really good saves. It's saves he should be making, though, aren't they? I'm like, well, I'm sorry. I'm watching. Me and my dad were watching that from where we're sat. When Madison hit that with his left, I thought, shit.
I think everybody did.
And he literally, I mean, I know he's a big lad, but it was a hell of a save. And then there's a one Porro volleys. Is it hitting the crossbar? I'm not too sure, but he just gets a slight fingertip on a great reaction.
He was desperate to shoot from anyway, him, wasn't he?
Pedro Porro.
Oh,
Pyro.
From anyway,
Agatha Christie.
I wasn't convinced. Like,
love Porro.
I think there was one at the time where I wasn't even sure that he'd touched it.
That's the Porro one I'm on about.
Because he must have got the smallest of.
I think it took a little nick off a defender as well.
Actually, to move.
My stomach.
Oh, that was loud.
You heard my stomach.
Oh my god! I thought it was a thunderstorm.
Jesus.
I'm absolutely starving. Sorry, lads.
But it is like, and that's why I was saying, even though they had that probably, let's say, 25 minutes of spell in the second half.
Mate, that's a long time. 25 minutes. But you must have been sitting there going, fuck, surely. Because I was, honestly, I was
20,
like, come on.
shots, like 20 shots at goal.
They didn't have
20 shots at goal.
20 shots.
Start the line.
And six of them were on target.
6 on target. We had
3 and 2 goals.
3, yeah.
Cario made one other.
We had 3 on target. And
I think it was 6 on target, though, wasn't it?
No, we had 3.
For them, 6 on target.
Yeah.
20 shots, 6 on target.
So considering all of that possession and all of that pressure that they've had, it overcrossed 90 minutes.
Yeah, I can't say we dominated. Only had 3 though.
Massively dominating and putting you under loads and loads of pressure.
No, I have to say, I'm not saying over the 90 minutes. Absolutely not. I think there was almost 2 halves To both halves, if I'm
Yeah.
what I mean.
A few
right?
quarters,
I think
quarters,
quarters,
mate. Aye.
That's
all
what
American.
probably,
2 halves to 2
probably a
quarters.
25-minute
I should know that as well, being an American fan. You know?
The second half, you have to you would say
I thought
we
the
weathered a storm.
I thought the
Yeah.
second half then were by far the better side.
Yes.
And the goal that we scored came completely against it. Now, having said that, it's a funny game, right? If Isak's not an idiot and just passes it, we're 2-1 up anyway.
Yeah.
Right. If he just squares that ball, exactly what Murphy did, right? We're 2-1 up. And it was ironic because we should have been 2-0 up at that point.
I think we're not 1-0 up at
And
that
then
point.
That's right. We should have been 2-0.
It should have been
2-0,
2. And
yeah.
then from their goal kick, it should have been 1-1 because the lad misses an open goal. It was unbelievable.
So just because you brought it up, because it was one of the questions. So the Isak, well, I haven't seen it back. Nobody's made a deal out of this, but there's a challenge that goes in Isak. The one which you're talking about, where people are saying he should have squared it a couple of steps before that. Which yes,
He should have.
He should have.
100%
He should have.
But he's not.
But there's a challenge that comes in, and if you look at back, yes, the player eventually blocks the ball after he's already taken away Isak's left leg.
I'm not convinced.
Are
that's
you
a
not?
penalty at all?
I think
don't
that's a
think
penalty.
so.
Like
I think it's one of those ones. If it gets given on the field, it doesn't get overturned by VAR, and if it doesn't get given on the field, it doesn't get overturned
I
by
think
VAR.
that's a pen.
There is contact there, but if I was Newcastle, I'd have been saying that's a great tackle, and I thought it was a great tackle personally. He's touched him just before, but I just don't think it's
I don't think he tackles him.
not to
I
what do you
don't
mean?
think he tackles him at all. He
He
goes
took the
into
ball.
the slide. He doesn't touch the ball.
Isak kicks it off him.
Isak.
Ah,
I think
right.
what
He
actually
shoots off
happens
him.
is Isak.
Still kind of a block tackle,
kicks
though,
the-
isn't it?
I think he
I would
kicks
give
the
him that.
floor, which is what causes him to go down
Well, I'm not
and
so
go
sure.
over the defender.
Yeah,
le-
there's no
he's-
contact with consequence, as they say.
I
Yeah.
don't think that foot that the defender puts across, he
Makes
is
him go
going in
down.
for a tackle. He
Mm.
doesn't touch the ball at all. I'll give you that much. But to me, I can't see him making contact with Isak. It seems to be Isak goes for a shot and on his follow through kicks into the ground, and that's what causes him to go down. And admittedly, from that point, because the defender's sliding and Isak goes over the way that he does, it looks like he's came and clapped
Screaming for it. Isak
at the time.
screaming for it.
You know,
He
it
was,
looks, it looks like
I-
us. To us, that's a penalty, but
Not
seeing it
all
back-
contact, not all contact is a foul or a penalty. I mean, I'm not saying that maybe there was, but I look at it. If it was Shea doing that, say I'd be fuming if that was a penalty. Like, to be fair.
So obviously Spurs get their goal. It's 1-1. And but Decker, we mentioned this, but just to ask you, Matty, because you would have 100% been feeling exactly the same as us. I was shitting my pants at that point.
I was super positive. No bother. I knew the goal was coming. Sorry.
It was nerve wracking, wasn't it?
It was sort of the harbinger of doom. I was like thinking they're definitely going to win this game, and after what's happened the previous week, going into a national break, it's just going to be. I was just scared that we were. Well, I took a handoff for a point there and then. To be honest, I just knew that they were going to have sustained pressure. But I guess this is one of the beautiful things about this Newcastle side. They have the ability to win ugly, and I mean, I was nervous. I didn't think the goal was going to come, but thankfully, the chance comes and the substitution paid off. But can I talk about Jacob Murphy for a second here?
100%.
Again, love you, Jacob. I know you watch the loads. I was turning around to them saying, "Did Jacob and Josh have a triplet that we don't know about?" Because I was just thinking, oh my, there was that bit where he went to do a 1-2 with Livramento. Just played it straight back to Livramento. He wasn't there. Kicked it straight out of play. There was a one where it was coming down. You just thought, right, just knock it forward. You're on a run-in, not on goal, but at your full-back, just waiting for the ball to come to him.
In the second half of that game, turned into Decker.
it's not a bad thing.
I could not believe what I was watching in front of my
He just looked
eyes.
so
It was
nervous.
like, well, what has
I'm gonna defend him.
happened to Jacob Murphy? He couldn't do anything right. Could
Yeah.
he? Like he couldn't pass the ball. There was the first one wasn't long. He came onto the pitch. Was it? The ball comes out to Tino. He's got the entire right hand side of the ground, the entire Lee's end to run at, and he stands still.
Yeah,
I think he tries to
And
get
it's like-
behind Tino at one point.
And that's it. He stands still, and then Tino's like, "Are you going to do something?" And he then comes short. And it's like, what on earth are you doing? And then, like you say, he tries to do a 1-2, tries to passes it straight out into touch. I have never seen a worse performance since Grant Hanley played in black and white than that.
Kennedy.
That spell of football, it was unbelievable.
I said this on the reaction, so I'm going to repeat myself, Chris. I apologise. But that was the Murphy that I used to see on the Rafa coming off the bench,
Aye.
where he used to come on and just run out of play, pass to the wrong player, couldn't trap a ball. But in his defence, you know, we're massively up against it. Spurs were really, we couldn't keep hold of the ball, bottom line. And to come on in that environment, like, you sink or swim sometimes, and it can be tough, right? To come off the bench and just all of a sudden and they're just getting hounded. And it's difficult.
That's why you've given me a big old bunch of flowers now, though. I mean, we're saying this, we're having our laughs about it.
Yeah.
But then, obviously, Joe Linton does what he does, plays Murphy in. And I'm telling you now, I felt like I was going back in time because I've seen him on that exact angle at the Leeds' end. Well, not just, obviously, what was that, Norwich away? Was it Norwich? Watford. But at the Leeds' end, I've seen him do that 2 or 3 times. And he's either ran it straight into the keeper. Yeah. I remember Brighton at home when we were just about to stay up. He did the exact same thing, dinked the keeper, hits the post, comes out, Fraser scores. Or I've seen him just totally fluff his lines. And the fact that he's just kept going, you just thought, he's going to do it again. And then he's had the presence of mind to knock it aside.
It was perfect.
So like that's where, and then after that, he went into the mode that most of the players did. And that's when I also big up the team. I thought we held on to the lead quite. What minute do we score in? Is it late 70s?
70 odd, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was still a long way to go.
I think decent way to go, but I think the battling spirit really started coming out then. And I think Murphy, he then like sort of faded into us as a collective rather than individual errors, settled them down. So
78 actually.
Now, well, there you go. So I think after that we were a battling unit. That they still had the chances. We still were giving the ball away a little bit, but Murphy, fair play to him, didn't let his head go down. Execution, brilliant, totally unselfish. And you're seeing the celebrations after, like Bruno's grabbing hold of his head, Isak's going wild at them, and I just thought it was good for him to settle the nerves. So fair play. As much as we were laughing, fair play, Jacob.
A couple of nervous moments that we did have, Mark, which I haven't mentioned yet. So one is when Bruno comes flying in. It's counter-attack. Bruno comes flying in. He clears the ball. He just hits it towards our own goal. And we're thinking, that's an own goal waiting to happen. Yeah. Doesn't even look. He just hits the ball. Then obviously celebrates like he's scored a goal himself. But then another one, Tonali's on the field at this point, and I think we'll lose the ball, just gets turned over, and Tonali just absolutely lashes it down the field, and he comes in like a steam train. I'm thinking he's just going to clatter somebody if they turn here in the box, but he managed to get a tackle in as well, and it was getting nervy at points, it really was. But the lads done well to hold on to it.
I think that, like I say, 25 minutes, I mean, it probably wasn't even.
It was 5 minutes added on, wasn't it? Because everybody was shocked that we had the same amount of time added on.
I think from after that goal, that it just killed Spurs, and our performance was then pretty comfortable after that. But I think even Tonali
being kind, isn't he?
We were never comfortable. We were comfortable.
Well,
there's a stain on my seat that
it's been
would say otherwise.
we only had 34% possession, and I seen an interesting stat about passes as well over the league so far. We've had the lowest in the league.
I think.
Well, that's no surprise when you look at the way
our like the percentage as well for successful passes is poor as well.
Yeah,
I'm sure it is. Like
well, actually, how referenced that as well. He was really unhappy with how we kept possession, but 260 passes against their 500. Now, I appreciate everyone will go, well, you know, they've had 66% of the ball, but they haven't done that with it. Blah 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 blah. But my only, and I don't want to end this on a negative from the game, of course, but. We can't. I don't think we can go in. We can't play like that all the time. Like, no. I'm telling you now, you'll lose more than you'll win. So that something has to change, or we have not change necessarily, but we have to become what we know. And
we need to evolve again, don't we?
Yeah, my worry is, and I said this against Bournemouth. Sorry, apologise. Forest in the cup there. At times, I do wonder what we are a bit, because before now, how you knew would really strong press as a group, really look to win the ball high up the pitch. I don't really see that as much at the moment, and I don't know why that is. And I
think in the first half it was there.
I can't say first half
from Joe, like Joe Linton was kicking everybody up a height and putting strong challenges and stuff like that.
He done well not to get cautioned earlier on.
He did wonderful in the top left hand.
There was a few, so I was certainly seeing that from him in there. As we then go on to mention, like Longstaff, his booking was ridiculous. That was a really, really soft booking. Pathetic. He shouldn't be getting booked for that. There was probably, he
would have been booked eventually, like
an accumulation of tackles or something but it did feel really soft.
That's what Joe Linton's was.
The Joe Linton one, you can't have any complaints about at all, because he put a lot of good, strong tackles in there.
All that missed.
Well, he did two. He did two back to back.
30 seconds.
Because it was funny, actually. I went on me because I had a bet on him to get booked. And I looked because he had done a foul. And I went, no, he hasn't been booked yet. I looked back up here like, oh, and I missed the tackle he did then, and it was a bad one. But that's Joe Linton for you. He's going to smash everyone on hour.
And then Bruno was just a late one.
Well, I think that was born of
frustration.
frustration. Yeah, he gets sort of semi-fouled by Madison. Who I don't know if I'm going to talk about him or not, but Bruno full on cleans his clock. Like, see you later on.
That was never a foul on Bruno by Madison.
Was it not? Well, I couldn't say, but you could see he was asking for it then. And then
he went down.
I thought it was a bit, a little bit. Was it immature, inexperienced from Bruno to get sucked in?
It wasn't all Bruno that was
should have gone William, and he's got 25-yard free kick centre. Like,
just to interrupt anybody that does have any questions there, send them our way because we've got 15 minutes left. So send them away. We'll go through as many as possible. We're flying through a night.
I think Bruno. I feel as if the refs have cottoned on to him a bit, if I'm honest, because he doesn't now. I made this comment and someone says, well, he's just won 2 free kicks. He absolutely did it towards the end of the game, but then were fouls. Like, he got absolutely kicked all over the place. But the other ones, though, I feel the second he's holding on to the ball far too long. He's trying to carry it out, and then as soon as he feels a bit of pressure, he goes to ground. You know, he's doing what Longstaff used to do, and Andy used to walk in on Toy Story. It's just falling down. You know what I mean? And he needs to stop that, because I think the refs are getting used to it. And it was similar to what Casemiro did. If you watched the Liverpool game, he just fell over as soon as he felt a bit of pressure. Ref played on, and against a better opposition, and that's, I suppose, Spurs are a good team, but a better opposition, they'll kill you, man, in them moments if we lose the ball in them areas. Like,
so those moments that you mentioned there, Deckard, where the referee wasn't falling for it, but then he won a couple of free kicks right at the end of the game by doing exactly the same thing.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But them were fouls though. Honestly, them were clear.
Yeah, like pushed in the back.
Someone absolutely wiped him out, and that's fine. You know, no problem.
That tackle from Madison on him was.
It was a bad one, yeah. Yeah, it was. He's either got to release the ball quicker. I do think he holds on to it too long. I've said that even when we were getting them free kicks.
There was a couple of times where he was robbed of possession because he was trying to.
And it's again, surely, if you're the opposition manager, right? I'd be like,
under pressure.
On him.
Watch this bloke here. You know, this lad hangs onto the ball on him straight away. And it's not rocket science, is it?
It's a risk that Bruno takes, but sometimes it's worth taking, isn't it?
But in the same breath, the second goal doesn't come if Joe Linton doesn't do exactly that.
That's
because Joe Linton picks up the ball. He sends Madison to the chip shop for there's 3 fish suppers,
and there's your difference.
And then that ball that he plays through is brilliant. But if you don't have that confidence to keep the ball, yes, he comes away with it and turns and puts it on. You don't get more.
You have to remember, though, I mentioned this to Deck earlier on, though, the thing with that, yes, it's a great ball from Jordan, a fantastic ball to put Murphy through and a great turn. If Madison's on a yellow card at that point, he doesn't even get that chance. Madison brings him down.
He could have clattered him, but that's
he would
have been off.
You know, that's the same.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like, without having 3 midfielders having the cautions, it works the same for Spurs as well.
And then that's why I think they probably did again get more of a foothold in the second half, because you are then wary of that and having to step off the.
Well, that was why I was shouting and ball and thinking, why is Tonali not on this field?
Yeah.
Why is he not on this field? You've got 3 centre midfielders that are all booked. None of them can make a tackle. Them were just constantly at our back 4. I mean, literally, it was as if there wasn't a midfield. I think you've got to change it. Like, and he did bring him on eventually, but I thought it could have been earlier.
Yeah, and again, it's that fitness issue is how long can he play? I mean, we know he played an hour in midweek, so is that playing on his mind? But
with Italy now, so he's going to get some. Well, you would think some game time over there as well.
He's been called up for Italy as well, hasn't he? So. I thought you just said it was international week.
Yeah, he's been called up for Italy, so you will get some fitness.
You would think. But again, I mean, what did you think when he came on?
All right, I wasn't setting the world alight, but all right. I
covered a lot of ground quickly.
Yeah. I'll say it again. I said the same against Forest. You've had 33% of the ball.
Yeah.
It's difficult when as a team, if we don't have the ball, you're not going to see the best of him. But the thing is, what I love about him is he'll cover every single blade of grass, and he's intelligent off the ball as well. He'll close down gaps. He'll do what he has to do. But it's very difficult when we're not having much of the ball. Like I said against Forest, we all said there's moments against Forest where he played good passes, but you're talking maybe 5, maybe 5. I could be wrong, but it's hard when you haven't got the ball. Like,
I think it's just that is the way that we played. Like, it's not about keeping hold of the ball for a long time. As soon as we get the ball, we look to get it forward as quickly as we possibly can, get it out into the wide places. And yes, that does mean that when you're coming up against the team that will win the ball back quickly, that you're always going to struggle for those possessions. So that's maybe when you do want to see a bit more intelligence in your midfield of just to slow it down, to keep a hold of the ball and stuff like that. But it's then, how does the rest of the team then come into the game? Because the game plan is to give it wide, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought the subs, to be fair, there's another sub. I thought Kelly coming off, by the way. I know everyone's rightfully praised him.
Yeah.
I do think that substitute came at the right time because he was having a torrid time against Johnson, like I have to say. And everyone always seems to have the opinion, and it's probably the right one, that obviously Kelly's more defensive minded, more stronger, but he struggled against Johnson and he brung him off, and that he had to because he was causing trouble. Not just him. That's why Joe Linton's filling in so much.
Yeah.
Joe Linton was filling in so much to try and protect. And he brung on Hall, which was, could say, is a bold move because obviously Hall's not maybe as strong defensively, but I thought Hall done all right as well when he come on. Can he anyway?
Right, let's go through our questions. As always, got one from Josh along with the donation. He says,
Josh, lad.
"Hi lads, hope you're well. Changing the subject from football to food, as always. We'll always get back
I'm
to food.
starving. Like you must hear me.
Well,
You must hear me belly.
Because he says, as this is where this pod excels, not about football, just about food, apparently. He says, have you eaten yet? I've just had a tippy tea. Tippy tea?
Tippy tea.
He had a tippy tea. He's had a chippy. He's had a chippy tea. That pizzas that we've had last week looked amazing. They weren't the best of pizzas, like.
The kebab one was
Oh,
lovely.
you only complained because it had mushrooms on.
Well, I did
They
say
were
it
very
before, I didn't like
tasty.
mushrooms.
You just didn't like the mushrooms.
Yeah.
I've had
We
no
all
all
enjoyed
day.
them.
Had
Yeah.
nothing. This is what I do though. I don't eat really, but then when I do, it's like bang.
Mm. Baba. I've had a slow cooker
did he
dish
have?
me. Like,
What did he have for his chippy tea?
he's, I don't know. He's probably gone now.
Never mind.
He normally watches a little bit.
Although
and catches up
now
the
I
rest of the
haven't
day.
eaten all day either, and the chippy sound absolutely amazing right now.
So
But it's
this-
Monday and I can't be being a pig, man.
No,
This is the issue with this. Like, I think every time on the drive home, Decker, we always have a conversation about getting food on the way home.
every time. Every
But
time.
it's normally too late at that point to get everywhere shut.
I had
But it's for a good
crumpets
reason.
for breakfast.
I thought you were saying
Love
tea there.
Love a crumpet. Butter on. And then I didn't have
Just
dinner.
butter?
I was too busy. Just butter.
No more, mate.
Oh, God, it's disgusting. More, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Have you had the crumpets that are like toast though? I mean, you went on circle ones, right? Or did you have the ones like toast, like the
Like the big
The ones that are
square
just
ones.
square.
No, I had that.
They look
I
like
didn't-
bread,
I
but they're
didn't
like-
have
The way you're saying it's like
yeah.
toast.
Oh yeah.
Do you get the
That
proper
proper
ones?
fills your toaster, doesn't it?
Oh, something else.
Aye.
Do you get proper crumpets?
Warburtons.
Yeah.
Warm.
All right.
Warburton's
Well, that's the right
crumpets.
crumpets, not like.
Isn't it lush though when they're you know they're really warm and you put the button on, you just
Melt it.
oh
But then it leaks out the bottom, doesn't it?
It does, aye.
So you've got to
It
have
does.
it either.
Yeah,
have
but
a
then
bit
you got to
of-
mop
bit
it
of
up
kitchen roll
afterwards.
or a bit of, that's what I'm going to say, a bit of grease.
smart
Mate,
licks the
as
table.
Your best bet, and then you dip it. I sometimes like a bit of jam.
Yeah, jam's alright.
Jam on a
Nutella's
crumpet?
nice on it.
Yeah. I have tomato sauce, mate.
Oh, sauce. Yeah,
well,
tomato
that's
sauce.
it.
Oh,
Garlic.
I'm taking the
Bullshit on
garlic.
that.
I won't
Jesus
lie.
Christ.
I just dipped them in the garlic.
Cheese and Lee and Perrins.
That's a winner. That like
Good show, that, yeah.
Bosh.
So do you have any tea or not?
And then I didn't have dinner because I was too busy. And then for tea, I had
Busy.
slow cooker butter chicken. Ooh, lovely.
Yeah, my belly's gone.
I am pretty hungry, like, so I think we're gonna have to move on.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Moving on. Thanks for the question, though, Josh, and the donation.
Nice one,
Yeah.
Josh.
Tell me what you had from the chippy.
If you're
I
still,
know
if
your
you're still
chippy
there,
order.
tell
Get in the
us.
comments section, yeah.
Right, next question. Let's get back to football. El Grande Salmon says, we're talking about food again, salmon. He says, any thoughts on the owner's visit? Supportive, unhappy, or total coincidence?
It came out. That's coincidental, haven't it? I think
already
a couple of people
prearranged, yeah.
Prearranged. They don't just pop over. I think
Spurs at home, they're always there.
I was going to say, he loves
Yeah,
coming
yeah,
to the
Spurs
Spurs
at
game,
home.
doesn't he?
that was his first game, wasn't it? Yeah. I just think they're just there. I don't think they're going to be in touch with everyone over these dealings. They're not going to be sat there going to Paul Mitchell going, why aren't you buying them? Get them bought. And Paul Mitchell's going, no, I'm just going to wait it out. They're a massive part, I think. Maybe not him himself, but the PIF, we know that they have to get hold of them on the phone and talk about the money and what we can spend and stuff. So I don't think that us not buying a player is going to put their nose out of joint at all. I don't think they'll be that bothered. They'll be asking questions, surely. There will be, but
It's a brand new season. They want to have a visit. They want to
yeah.
come over. It's the second home game of the season. I think it's absolutely fine.
Do you know what it is? I still find it really strange that you look up there in corporate and you don't see Amanda sat there. I find it weird. Just like
I find
part
it
of the
even more
furniture.
weird that you don't see Triple H there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, these are the people that we don't think about giving these changes. Poor Triple H now doesn't have a job.
People have no idea who Triple H is on here. No idea.
Everybody knows who Triple H is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame. Like, but she might buy a bit in Spurs, and he'll be standing there with her. So
But
there's no.
I think the fact that we haven't heard about a meeting at Alnwick Castle would suggest that
Proper villains, aren't they?
there hasn't been that
by
that
candlelight.
type of meeting occurring, because that's always the what comes out of the woodwork, isn't it?
Mind
Is
you, though,
a session happening.
Ruben put something out, didn't he, at the end of the game, and he got halfway through that, turned that off. Like, he put a tweet on, didn't he? Like, one of them happy clapper ones, like.
He always does, yeah. He always does.
Makes you sick, to be honest. It's just the most
So you
false.
like him being a Tory?
So, well, he also has been using the ground to push Tory bullshit.
Well, he hasn't.
Well, no. So,
I'd be
Is
surprised,
this the
though.
Sir John Hall?
so
So,
Sir
I
John,
didn't watch that either, but I've seen a picture.
right. So, I'll tell
the
you.
conclusions, though, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
It has to be
So
Ruben.
the video goes on. The club are very quick. I'm saying the club. So Lee Marshall from the club, he's not press officer. He's basically everything needs to go through Lee. Everything like that needs to go through him. So apparently the club were told that Sir John Hall was doing a documentary on his life.
So
Hence why he was given,
autobiography
yeah,
process,
hence
isn't
why
it?
he was given access to St. James's Park. Then
Which is-
obviously this
it's-
footage came out afterwards.
It's a strange one though, because the way that it's filmed kind of does frame it like that, but it's ultimately just a massive propaganda piece for the Conservative Party.
So what's happened?
Which-
Obviously, there would have been, yes, he probably has used the ground for that reason. Then this fella, this runner for the party, probably went, shall I'll hire a few questions in for me in there as well. And that's probably what's happened. But it's bad crack, like it's bad crack.
Especially
He
when
won't be invited back.
it's in the last general election, he was bloody touting the friggin' reform
Reformer,
and all of them as well. So
he
he
was
just
reformer, yeah.
But we'll not
But
go
anyway,
into that down the
sorry,
political
yeah.
route
Fine.
because
picks and chooses his battles there, doesn't he? But yeah, it was a strange one.
next question, it is from our very own Ian, and he says, "Who was your man of the match?" For him, he says it was a toss-up between Tino, Kraft, or Barnes.
Oh, really?
Well, I'm not sure you can give it a Bonds considering.
Mine would have been Burn if it wasn't for the own goal and
Yeah.
that one pass he did.
Straight after.
Yeah, if it
Yeah.
wasn't for them 2 moments, it's over 90 minutes to do 2 little.
Well, haven't
little
even
mistake.
mentioned that.
One kicking one in the
Well, I
goals.
haven't
though.
mentioned
Yeah.
that pass that
Oh.
they should have scored from that.
Of course, it
It was
should.
like 3-on.
That's what I
2 at
mean.
that
There was
point.
the amount of times, man, that there were 3-on-1, 3-on-2, and they didn't make a count. But anyway, we're not going to go back over
Because we
that.
defended so well.
No, I think it was poor decision for them. I was Burn or Joe Linton for me.
I'll go Kraft or Joe Linton. I think Joe
Kraft
Linton
was
got
mine.
it. I think he ended
Did
up
he?
getting the official man of the match award. I think he was. I think every player in this game, we saw the best and worst of them. I think we saw some great bits from pretty much everyone, and in long periods as well. But everyone, I think, was guilty of either doing a really poor loss of possession or doing something a bit brainless. And I think in the early doors, Joe Linton did a couple of daft little passes and gave away the ball, but then he makes up for it by winning it back or just being Joe Linton and the brilliant 10 and the pass for the goal. But I think Kraft was probably the most consistent performer in terms of his defensive display. Although I do remember with about a minute ago, they kick it long to just get the ball up the field, and literally
bless
all
him,
the back line are doing this. Apart from Kraft, who's like, nah, and it just like heads it down straight over their midfielders.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh my God, they're going to score.
I think Pope needs to be absolutely screaming from the rooftops.
But it looked like all of them were. There was, I think, Tino next to Kraft is screaming, "Leave it, leave it." So I mean, I'm not gonna
There
chastise
was,
you so much for
there
that.
was one moment, right, where it was so loud on the ground, and there was something was happening on the field where people were going, Pope needs to be shouting for that. As nobody's hearing Pope shouting for that, like, because it was so loud at that point. My man of the match, I'm gonna give it to Tino because I thought Tino had a solid game and he had to deal with them 15 minutes of Jacob Murphy. Because that must have been nerve-wracking for him as well.
Yeah, Jesus. He must have thought.
What was going through his brain when Murphy passes him? Fuck! What's he done?
I just still cannot get over that.
It's good that we
That's-
can laugh about that because if he didn't
But
have
that's
that
'cause he
chance to
tur-
redeem
but he did-
himself,
He turned it. He massively turned it around with the run that he did before that. Obviously, when Isak goes through, the assist that he gets, and from there on,
It's
he
fine.
didn't
It's
put a foot wrong.
so what happens, right, Matty? I'll come to you. What happens when Fabian's back? Straight back in, Kraft out, Fabian back straight back in?
was literally just gonna say that.
Yes,
100%, yeah.
I'm saying yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Done well.
fucking 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, and that's, but again, that's not, you're not having a good crap there.
No,
But I
absolutely
think Fabian actually helps us retain the ball a little bit more as well.
Yep.
And he's the one I send this long or I play it in the midfield. And
We miss them balls, don't we?
yeah, it's just that little bit of culture at the back. I look forward to having him back, but it's nice to have that depth with Kraft. Love you, Krafu, lovely guy. Don't know him, but you know.
I said that on the reaction that
Yeah.
I think it was suffer as a team when Shear's not there, not simply for his ball playing, but Pope can go short, so comfortable, he can bring the ball out, he can start to move off the midfield, whereas craftily and bringing their ball out for you. Like it'll be a case of just give it to Tino or whoever's to his right, and I'll defend, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But we do miss Shea a lot, and you can certainly see that because we're possession stats and overall style is just not the same. There's so many long balls. Isak's isolated because of that, and there's loads of problems.
A couple more things I want to mention because transfer windows are still open in certain parts of the world. Turkey's still open. We've seen some movement there with loan deals.
It's just good, hasn't
Rumours today that Fenerbahce have been inquiring about Kieran Trippier.
Inquire all you like. He's not gone.
There's not a chance they let him go now.
If they do, I am worried. You don't let the likes of Trips go. Like, yes, during the transfer window for the funds, yes. But once the season starts and you've got no chance of bringing somebody in, that's dangerous.
I mentioned Trippier as well. I noticed he was on the sideline when we conceded, and he was screaming at them, but like try and then just calm down. I don't know what we could all do with that, but I think just having someone like Kieran Trippier at the side of the pitch, like just
we're missing loads on the field. We
might miss some loads on the field, but
there was moments yesterday where I thought, God, I wish he was on. Honestly, I can only be honest.
But imagine the sort of hole he would leave just across the club. I think now, I know he's getting on, and we've had all these conversations, and I do agree with your points to a degree about what he gives us when he's on the pitch. The calmness, really, isn't it? But
calmness.
Yeah. I just think that'd be one of the to lose any of those players that were on it, any of them, even. John Ruddy wasn't on the bench.
Almiron.
But I'm saying don't sell any of them players now because you can't make the squad weaker.
I think he was on the bench, wasn't he?
Was Julian Ruddy on the bench? David sell John Ruddy because disaster.
Well, there was a moment where until I realised we're just in wild Pope tactic because we're up against it at this point, and Pope went and sat down.
Yeah,
and he was told to though.
That's what I'm saying.
He just ran round the back of the goal to get the ball, and they're like.
Julian runs over and goes,
get down because we're getting battered here, so we needed time to readjust and etc. etc. But when he first hit the deck, I thought, my God, Ruddy's coming on.
I think when he hits the deck, I think that's when Murphy comes on straight afterwards. So whatever was said, I don't know what was said.
I think I've just looked at Daryl said
Dubs was on the bench.
Dubs was on the bench because I remember seeing him in the picture. But either way, like I said, it's just I don't want to see anyone go. But we've said about Jamal Lewis's crazy move to Brazil, apparently.
So that was my next talking
point.
That. Were you expecting to read that headline? Yeah,
that's proper. That's FIFA. That's FIFA in real life. Where it's just like
I had to click on Keith Downey's profile and make sure it was him that had put it out because I was like, this can't be real.
That's some move for him, though.
And I love the fact that Michael O'Neill's the one who broke the story as well.
Mental.
I just don't get it. All the best of them, but as soon as I read it, I was like, that's FIFA that. I would expect to be on my career mode and it was like, move to Sao Paulo.
Roberto Carlos.
Definitely
not. He's a long loan in Brazil.
It's not all the best of them, but not happening.
Yeah. No, I'm with Matty 100%. Not just Trippier. None of them can go. And if Trippier does go, it's horrendous. It's horrendous. Yeah. And it's funny because Howe's banged the drum saying, oh, no. Howe's never, apologize. Trippier's never mentioned the move. He's been professional. He's never ever spoke about leaving. If he leaves this week, say there's questions there's something going on if he does.
Straight to Hannon Castle.
Yeah.
See the owners at the next game.
That would be good. Then.
Anything that you want to bring up before we end it tonight?
I thought I had something, and I forgot.
I really enjoyed Juno. That's what we should call them.
Good movie.
Bruno and Joe Linton singing Sandro Ole Ole Ole.
That was nice.
Sandro did look
but like, shut up, man.
Don't involve me in this.
Sandro doesn't smile now, does he?
That's just his face, man.
No. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Baby teeth.
Big gums.
Yeah.
Do you think he comes straight back in after the national break?
No. I'll give it a few more games, and I think
he'll definitely start. He'll start against Wimbledon, and hopefully, I'd like to see Osula start against Wimbledon as well.
You mean AFC Wimbledon?
Yes, AFC
Wimbledon. When's
sorry.
Wilson back? Wilson's always involved in those videos with 2 minutes as well. Yeah. He's always greeting them
after the international break.
Yeah, and
so that'll be Wilson up top against Wimbledon then.
Were you surprised we didn't see a late change up front?
I thought it was happening because he was warming up, like going back to the bench and then getting told to go back out again. But I think he just decided to keep things as they were and bring Miggy on, and then that was it. The shop shut.
Was people watching? Right, you might be able to tell us. Decker, you were watching at home as well. Was Target ready to come on at one point? Because we looked over and it looked like Target was stripped ready. Then last minute they changed it to Miggy to come on.
Yeah,
I might be completely wrong, but that's what it looked like from our view. Because I went, "Is that Target? Come on."
He might need a poo as well.
Yeah, Target looked like he was stripped, but then obviously the next time it went back, it was obviously Miggy.
Yeah, Miggy coming on.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks everybody who has been watching there tonight. Just like the video means a lot to us, become a subscriber if you would like to do so. Become a member. It's $2.99 a month, and you do get early access. You get extra videos as well, and you do get access to the Telegram group along with many other things. If you are listening to the audio, just give us a 5-star rating and a review as well. It means a lot to us as well. And just if you're doing it on one, just switch over to the video or switch over to the audio and do the same as well. Thanks very much, everybody. Being a blast as always. We'll be back next week, and there'll be plenty more content coming throughout the week as well. But yeah, please next time, watch what you're doing. I'm struggling to find the exit video again.
Get a kebab.